Welcome to the exhibition match between Bangladesh and Sri Lanka at Melbourne. Jim Maxwell is with me in the commentary box for this game.
Thanks very much, Richie.
The weather's delightful here today, sunny and hot, just perfect conditions for cricket. The outcome is that Sri Lanka have elected to bat. We'll have to wait to see if that was the right decision. The teams are walking out onto the field, so it won't be too long now before we get underway. So let's take a look at the teams. Here's the lineup for Sri Lanka: Adapadu, Jayasuriya, Jayawardene, Arnold, Samaraweera, Kunawardene, Sangakkar, Russ, Muralitharan, Fernando and Malinga. And here's the lineup for Bangladesh: Hamdan Sarkar, Javed Omar, Habibul Bashar, Rajan Saleh, Al Saharia, Mushfiqur Rahman, Khalid Mashood, Khalid Mahmood, Mashraf Mortaza to Adapadu. There it goes. Rajan Saleh is after that one. He's pushing his luck a little there. That's the first runs of the day for Adapadu. Ashraf Mortaza, the bowl to Adapadu.
Richie, you've seen some great batsmen. Who's the best in the contemporary game?
The qualities of a great batsman are best shown these days by watching Sachin Tendulkar. He has the ability to play very straight in defence of back and front foot. He has close to perfect footwork. Add to that a wonderful range of strokes. We have a great entertainer, as well as someone who is brilliant technically. Ashraf Mortaza, the bowl to Jayasuriya. It's gone way into the stands. 6 runs. Ashraf Mortaza, don't like that at all.
Hardly seemed to hit it. It's gone for 6.
Let's take a look at that in slow motion. Jayasuriya waiting at the striker's end. And that's out. Caught by Khalid Mahmood.
For those of you watching at home, that's a good example of how to take a catch.
Ashraf Mortaza gets his first wicket. This was the end of the innings for Jayasuriya. The next batsman is Jayawardene. Jayawardene facing. Nine runs came from that over by Ashraf Mortaza.
Sri Lanka will be looking to blast away from the start with fielding restrictions in place.
Tariq Aziz to Adapadu. Habibul Bashar is after it, pushed into the gap. Habibul Bashar started long on. 1 run to Adapadu. Jayawardene waiting at the striker's end. There it goes. Ashraf Mortaza started long on. There's the first runs for Jayawardene. Tariq Aziz to Adapadu. stopped by Javedoma.
Tariq Aziz.
The ball to Adapadu. And Saka is chasing that one. Well, that's off the batsman's pads. This was how the wicket fell. Arnold comes in at number 3. Arnold facing. Swept away. Those are the first runs for Arnold. Tariq Aziz to Adapadu. Oh, that's close. And the umpire's given it.
A difficult decision for the umpire there.
Ashraf Mortaza gets his first wicket. We can have a look at that again. Arnold waiting at the striker's end. These will be leg byes. Umpire's signalling that as leg byes. Ashraf Mortaza continues. Stroke through the covers. That's the first runs of the day for Samarawira. Arnold facing. Ashraf Mortaza continues. Struck in front. He's out.
A tough decision by the umpire, but he seemed certain.
Ashraf Mortaza gets his second wicket. This was how the innings ended for Arnold. The new batsman is the left-handed Gunawardena. Ashraf Mortaza, the ball to Gunawardena. That's over the rope. 6 runs off Ashraf Mortaza and came right off the middle of the bat.
What an effortless shot. Brilliant.
Take a look at that in slow motion. Samarawira is now on strike. That struck him in front. Loud appeal. Umpire raised his finger and he's out.
That was a good decision by the umpire under a lot of pressure.
Tariq Aziz gets his second wicket. This was how the wicket fell. Sangakkar. Tariq Aziz, the ball to Sangakkar. Tariq Aziz continues. That's a big appeal. Not out. In my opinion, it wasn't out, but it was very close.
Well, Richie, that looked very close, but the umpire's given the batsman the benefit of the doubt.
Let's see the action replay of that. Sangakkara waiting at the striker's end. Lively delivery by Tariq Aziz. Sangakkara facing. That was a no ball by Tariq Aziz. Tariq Aziz continues. Khalid Mahmood is in pursuit, played into the gap. Smashed that one right out of the ground. Gunawardena takes his score to goal.
It doesn't really matter if it goes in the air if you hit it that far.
Let's see the action replay of that. Tariq Aziz to Gunawardena. Khalid Mahmood is after it. That's a big hit. It's 6.
The bowler can't believe it, but it is out of the ground. 6 runs.
We can have a look at that again. Mushfiqur Rahman to Sangakkara. Good shot. It's the first boundary for Sangakkara.
Magnificent shot. The on drive is one of the hardest shots to play, and he's one of the great exponents of it.
Let's take a look at that in slow motion. Sangakkara facing. Mushfiqur Rahman, the ball to Sangakkara. That was a no ball by Mushfiqur Rahman. There's the umpire signal, no ball. Sangakkara waiting at the striker's end. 4 runs to Sangakkara. Super shot by Sangakkara.
Great shot. That seemed to rocket to the mountain.
We can have a look at that again. Sangakkara waiting at the striker's end. Abdul Bashar is not going to reach that. He's popped that straight down the ground.
He loves the ball in that area. Great shot. 4 runs.
Let's take a look at that in slow motion. Mushfiqur Rahman to Sangakkara. That's a superb shot. That really was a super stroke.
Great shot. That was a pleasure to see.
Let's see the action replay of that. Raman to bowl to Sangakkara. That's over the rope. 6 runs off Mushfiqur Rahman. The 50 is up for Sri Lanka.
Exciting stuff. He took a risk, but was well rewarded as the ball disappeared over the fence.
We can have a look at that again. Gunawardena facing. Just racing away to the square leg boundary. Really struck that well.
Poor bowler. His captain won't be too happy with him after that delivery.
Let's take a look at that in slow motion. Gunawardena facing. In the air and gone.
He got into great position to make that catch.
Abdul Razak gets his first wicket. This is how the innings ended for Gunawardena. Vas is the new batsman for Sri Lanka. Abdul Razak to bowl to Vas. These will be leg byes. Umpires signalling that as leg byes. Sangakkara waiting at the striker's end. Khalid Mahmood is after that one. Shot that is beautifully played.
What a delicate sweep shot. Just helped it on its way round the corner using the pace of the ball.
Let's see the action replay of that. Sangakkara waiting at the striker's end. Abdul Razak and the batsman in trouble with that one. That has to be close. Abdul Razak to Sangakkara. These runs will be signalled as leg byes. Mushfiqur Rahman continues. Work that into the gap all the way.
Magnificent shot. On drive is one of the hardest shots to play, and he is one of the great exponents of it.
We can have a look at that again. Mushfiqur Rahman continues. There it goes. Stopped by Tariq Aziz. Another single to Sangakkara. Vas facing. Mushfiqur Rahman has got him.
He seemed to completely misjudge the delivery and ended up playing all around.
Mushfiqur Rahman gets his first wicket. So then, that's the end of Vas.
Well, they're through to the tail now and should tie up the innings quickly.
This was how the wicket fell. Muralitharan is the new batsman. Pushpika Raman, the ball to Muralitharan. Pushpika Raman continues. Excellent bowling by Pushpika Raman. They have 3 wickets in hand. Pushpika Raman to Muralitharan. Three overs are left for Sri Lanka. Abdul Razak to begin a new over. That's gone high in the air. One run to Sangakkara. Muralitharan facing. Abdul Razak to Muralitharan. Error. Abdul Razak continues. Struck in front. Umpire raised his finger and he's out.
A tough decision by the umpire, but he seemed certain.
Abdul Razak gets his second wicket. This was how the innings ended for Muralitharan. The next man in is Fernando. Fernando waiting at the striker's end. Confident appeal. The umpire turned that one down, but it did look very close. I thought it looked very close.
Well, Richie, that looked very close, but the umpire's given the...
Let's take a look at that in slow motion. Fernando facing. Fielder's appeal, but he was quite comfortably home. Those are the first runs for Fernando. 2 overs are left in the innings. Fernando is now on strike.
Totally deceived him with that delivery, and it beat him all ends up.
Mahmood gets his first wicket. This was how the wicket fell. Malinga is the next man in. Khalid Mahmood, the ball to Malinga. Hit straight to a fielder. Malinga waiting at the striker's end. He's got it into the gap. Rajan Saleh got it long on. That's the first runs of the day for Malinga. Khalid Mahmood to Sangakkara. There it goes. Fielded by the man at long on. 9. Now for 77. Malinga waiting at the striker's end. Pushed into the gap. There's just one there. Sri Lanka move on to 78. Khalid Mahmood, the ball to Sangakkara. That was a no ball by Khalid Mahmood. There's the umpire signal, no ball. Sangakkara facing. Saka to Malinga. Big shout for that one. Let's see the action replay of that. Malinga facing. Saka to bowl to Malinga. Mushfiqur Rahman is chasing that one. These will be leg byes. Umpires signalling that as leg byes. Sangakkara waiting at the striker's end. Saka to bowl to Sangakkara. Sri Lanka have taken their total on to 9 for 81. Saka bowl the last ball of the innings. Saka has got him.
Can't afford to miss the straight. It's comprehensively bowled. That total has left the match finely balanced. That's a daunting total for the opposition to face.
Saka gets his first wicket. Malinga scored 2 runs from 0 balls.
Well, it seems like miles back to the pavilion when you've got out cheap.
Bangladesh are about to start their first innings. Saka waiting at the striker's end.
Bowler doesn't look too happy about that one. Misfields are infuriating for a bowler.
Jayawardene is after it. That came off the pads. Umpires signalling that as leg byes. Vas to Javed Omar. Stopped by Arnold. 81 runs required. Javed Omar facing. Those are the first runs for Javed Omar. Vas to Saka. It's straight to a fielder. Saka facing. Two runs came from that over for Bangladesh. The required Javed Omar is now facing. Malinga is switching to round the wicket. So they need 80 to win from Malinga to bowl to Javed Omar. Malinga gets his first wicket. This was how the wicket fell. The next batsman in is right-handed Habibul Bashar. Malinga to bowl to Habibul Bashar. Malinga gets his second wicket.
He's bowled brilliantly, probing and testing with every delivery.
This was the end of the innings for Habibul Bashar. Rajan Saleh is the next man in. Rajan Saleh waiting at the striker's end. Jayasuriya is in pursuit, cut away. Jayasuriya just picks that up inside the rope. There's just one there. And Saka facing. That's found the gap in the field. Fielded down at fine leg by Muralitharan. It's the first runs of the day for Saka. Malinga to Rajan Saleh. Malinga has got him.
He lost the line, and it went straight through.
Let's take a look at that in slow motion. Vass to begin a new over. He'll be okay, but that will be very, very sore in the morning. Vass continues. It's straight at Gunawardena. Bangladesh require 78 to win. Vass at the start of his run-up. Vass to bowl to Saka. Malinga is after that one. It's over the rope. 6 runs off Vass. That's the first boundary of the innings for Bangladesh.
The bowler doesn't look too happy about it.
Let's see the action replay of that. Saka waiting at the striker's end. It's high in the air. Arnold is underneath it and takes it comfortably.
The batsman will be kicking himself over that. It wasn't a great shot, and he looked to be in good form.
A superb catch from Arnold.
He kept his concentration really well. He had a long time to think about that before it came down.
Vass gets his first wicket. Saka goes for only 7. We can have a look at that again. The next batsman is Mushfiqur Rahman. Vass continues. Runs came from that over by Vass. The required run rate is around 10 and over.
Bangladesh need to polish their placement and push for more runs to get back up near the run rate needed.
Change in the bowling for Sri Lanka. Al Saharia is now on strike. Gunawardena is chasing that one, played into the gap. That's a huge 6. Well, that was 6 as soon as he hit it.
The bowler won't like that one little bit.
Let's take a look at that in slow motion. Muralitaran to Al Saharia. Al Saharia waiting at the striker's end. Stopped by Kunawardena. So they need 66 to win from 39 balls. Al Saharia facing. It's straight to a fielder. Muralitaran to Al Saharia. It's straight at Kunawardena. Al Saharia facing. Runs here. Another single to Al Saharia and the end of the over. The required run rate is around 10.5 and over. And we have a change of bowling. Jayasuriya to bowl to Al Saharia. Al Saharia waiting at the striker's end. Stopped by Kunawardena. 65 runs required. Jayasuriya to Al Saharia. It's straight to a fielder. Jayasuriya to bowl to Al Saharia. That was a no ball by Jayasuriya. It's straight at Samarawira. There's the umpire signal, no ball. Al Saharia facing. Stopped by Muralitaran. Al Saharia waiting at the striker's end. Bangladesh require 64 to win. Jayasuriya to Al Saharia. Overs are left for Bangladesh. The required run rate is around 12.5 and over.
They are meant to be chasing a total, but all they're doing right now is falling behind.
Muralitaran to continue with his off-spin. Muralitaran is coming around the wicket. So they need 64 to win from 29 balls. Muralitaran continues. Mushfiqur Rahman waiting at the striker's end. They have 6 wickets in hand. Muralitaran to continue with his off-spin. Bangladesh require 64 to win. Muralidharan to bowl to Mushfiqur Rahman. Hit straight to a fielder. Mushfiqur Rahman facing. That's well bowled by Muralidharan. 4 overs are left in the innings. The required run rate is around over 15 and over. Jayasuriya to bowl to Al Saharia. Jayasuriya has got him.
Too late now, he went straight through the gap.
Jayasuriya gets his first wicket. Let's take a look at that in slow motion. The next batsman is Khalid Bashood. Jayasuriya continues. Jayasuriya had the bat. That was a super piece of keeping by Sangakkar. Big shout for that one. Umpire's not certain, so he's requesting the third ump. He didn't stray far from his crease, but that was all the keeper needed.
Good keeping. He only had a split second to whip the bails off.
Khalid Mahmood to face the hat-trick ball. That was just an inch. That was a super piece of keeping by Sangakkar. Oh, that's close. It was very tight, so the umpire's calling for the TV replay. That's the red light. He's out. That was a super piece of keeping by Sangakkar.
That was an excellent stumping. He made no mistake with that stump.
Jayasuriya to Meshraf Mortaza. Samarawira is chasing that one, played off the back foot. Samarawira is not going to reach that. He found the gap with precision.
Bowler didn't do too much wrong there. It was just an excellent shot.
Let's see the action replay of that. Jayasuriya continues. Play it away with comfort. An easy single there to Meshraf Mortaza. Mushfiqur Rahman waiting at the striker's end. Four bowlers have now been used by Adapadu.
It's important for the batting side to not let the run rate rise too much if they're to stay in touch.
Here comes the first change in bowling. Malinga to begin a new over. Well, that one will wake him up a bit. Malinga to bowl to Meshraf Mortaza. Runs required. Malinga continues. Meshraf Mortaza facing. Malinga gets his 4th wicket.
It's been a world-class piece of bowling out there by this bowler.
So then, that's the end of Mashraf Mortaza. Well, this was how the wicket fell. The next batsman in is right-handed Abdul Razak. Malinga to Abdul Razak. Arnold is after that one. And the fielder's not going to cut that off. Super shot by Abdul Razak.
That's not the right line to bowl to this batsman. He'll punish anything there.
Let's take a look at that in slow motion. Malinga continues. Arnold is after it. That's over the rope. 6 runs off Malinga. That moves him on to 10.
That's a demoralising sight for any bowler, seeing the ball sail over the fence.
We can have a look at that again. We're about to see a change in the bowling. Mushfiqur Rahman is now facing. It's straight at Vas. Mushfiqur Rahman facing. Comfortably held by Joel Sarir.
For those of you watching at home, that's a good example of how to take a catch. Out! Fantastic catch. He flung himself at the ball and actually managed to hold on to it.
Fernando gets his 1st wicket. Mushfiqur Rahman is out for a duck.
Well, he hasn't troubled the scorers with that innings.
This was the end of the innings for Mushfiqur Rahman. The next man in is Tariq Aziz. Tariq Aziz waiting at the striker's end. Fernando had the batsman in trouble with that one, so they need 49 to win from 9 balls. Fernando to Tariq Aziz. Bangladesh require 49 to win. Tariq Aziz facing. It's just a kitten's whisker away from the stumps. So they need 49 to win from 7 balls. Fernando, the ball to Tariq Aziz. Arnold is in pursuit. Arnold is not going to reach that. Hit down the ground beautifully by Tariq Aziz.
Magnificent shot. The on drive is one of the hardest shots to play, and he's one of the great exponents of it.
Let's see the action replay of that. We're going to see the off-spin of Samarawira. Abdul Razak to face an over of spin. played into the gap. Jai Wardner sprinting along the boundary. Great shot by Abdul Razak. Abdul Razak moves on to 14.
Great shot. That seemed to rocket to the boundary.
We can have a look at that again. Abdul Razak waiting at the striker's end. Very disappointed with that result. So, to sum up then, Sri Lanka win by 40 runs. Thanks for joining us for today's play. We very much look forward to your company at the next match.